Welcome to lesson 6. We're going to dive straight in. So we're going to press Shift A, go to UV sphere, bring in a UV sphere, and then we're going to press Tab to go into edit mode and shrink that down a little bit by pressing S to scale. Then I'm going to fast forward it a bit, and we're using the grab tool in sculpt mode just to push the sphere straight into the head. This lesson is a little bit shorter because we're just focusing the hair on the top of the head, the scrunchie, and the long ponytail hair, which I've decided we're going to go for. So as you can see, we haven't remeshed it yet. We're just using the grab tool, pushing it all down. Okay, I'm going to remesh it now. So I'm going to try at 0.05. Press Ctrl R to confirm the remesh, and then push that down. Okay, at the moment it looked like it had a bit of an afro, but it's okay. We're going to try and make that nice and flat on the top of the head. So just making it nice and smooth all over, putting the hair behind the ears, coming up and giving her a bit of a forehead, which that's okay, we can change that later on. So all I'm doing is grabbing and holding Shift to smooth down with the grab tool. So let's go into object mode now, press Shift A and add in a cylinder. So we want to go into tab mode, into the cylinder, into edit mode, and we're going to be placing this on the back of the head. So we'll just press S to scale it down, and then I've gone to orthographic view onto the sides where I can just press G to move it, and it will stay in its line. So just moving it on the y-axis, placing it on the back of the head like so, and now we're going to select back on the head and go straight into sculpt mode. So now we want to draw lines on top of the hair to give it a bit more of a hair looking like feature, but before that we're going to remesh it again. So that's R, go to 0.01, and then press Ctrl R to confirm the remesh. Then I'm going to just smooth it over, pull it out, make the hair look roughly what it would look like on the avatar, just behind the ears. And then when I've smoothed that down, I'm then going to use the draw sharp tool and then start drawing the lines on the hair going straight towards the crunchy. So it looks like all her hair is going into the held up position. So like this. So I'm just clicking and dragging and putting the lines towards the crunchy, giving it a bit more of a hair looking like model shape. And then what we're going to do is press Shift A, and we're going to bring in another sphere, UV sphere. We're going to edit mode, then we're going to press scale it down just a little bit, and then we're going to scale it, we're going to move it along the y-axis just to put it behind her head, and then we're going to scale it on the z-axis just to stretch it out like so. So we'll just get that into a nice position. We're going to drag and drop that just behind her head, and then we are going to just rotate it a little bit on the x-axis, or I like to sometimes go to orthographic view and just rotate it, stretch it a little bit just so the hair goes way past the shoulders, because we're going to be adding some sort of wind motion to the bottom bit, as you'll see in just a moment. So when we have modelled the hair like so, we're going to remesh it a little bit. So we're going to go to 0.05. It's my rough, I like to use the 0.05 roughly, and then we are then just going to use the grab tool to push in the hair, and this time you don't want symmetry on because hairs are not quite symmetrical, so we're not going to mirror it. As you can see on the top right, the X, Y and Z, they're all been left out because this is going to be completely unique. So I'm just using the grab brush now just to pull it into the scrunchie, making that line up and then just smoothing it over, just pushing it in, making it look like it's coming out of there. And then I'm just going to speed this up as all I'm going to do is push it down, pull it in, pull it out, and just increase the sizes of my brush to make it look more like hair. As you can see, I'm going to move it over just a little bit past the shoulders just to give it that wind feel effect, keeping it nice and in line, trying to make it as realistic as possible. Might come back to it later because I'm not quite happy with it, so I might edit or change it in a bit, see how it looks at the end with the face. And again with the face I might change that again. I'm forever going back over the anatomy parts, ears, eyes, mouth, nose, just to make sure everything sort of looks better than what it currently looks. There's been times I think I left it, made it look pretty nice, and then I messed it up and then forgot to save a previous save. I do have 3 saves when when sculpting this, just in case I ever mess up I can go back to a previous save and try again. Even the pros mess up at time, and it's very difficult sometimes to get the exact shape and sizes you want using the tools. As you can see, all I'm using there is the grab brush, and we're just pulling it in and out, holding shift and pushing it down. If for whatever reason you're using the tools and it's acting bizarrely, just make sure if you go into object mode, press tab to go into object mode, just make sure your origin point is set to the center. That's the little orange dot. Just press Ctrl A and reset all transforms and then try again. That's because you might have moved it in object mode instead of edit mode. So we're in edit mode. When you move the object, your origin point will originally stay in the center point, or wherever your 3D cursor is. Wherever your 3D cursor is where your object will spawn in. So now I'm just tidying it up around the scrunchy, top bit of the hair, or the hairband, whatever you want to call it. And I just want to make the bottom bit of the hair look like it's a bit windswept, so it's just blowing in the wind. Again, I might change that a little bit, might drop it down a little bit. And then when you're happy with it, I just did a little bit of pinching in the areas. I don't think that's necessary really. I was just trying and experimenting it out. And then we go to the draw sharp tool now, brush, and I'm pressing, just drawing on as you would with the mouse or the pen, and then you hold Control to push in. So you push in the hair and you draw on top of the hair, will give it this nice element of hair-like 3D look. So, and then I just start playing around with the top bit, smoothing some bits over, and then just redrawing or pulling it in, pushing it in, pulling it out with the draw sharp. Just drawing it on, not pulling it, sorry. And then just finishing off, making sure the curvature of the hair is all going in one direction. And that's the end of this lesson. Hopefully we'll start right in the next lesson on the body, and I'll see you there.